From a small garage in California to becoming the first trillion-dollar company, Apple's story is nothing short of extraordinary. What began with two young dreamers and a wooden circuit board grew into a revolution that reshaped music, phones, and the way we live every day. The Apple II brought computers into homes, the Macintosh introduced the world to user-friendly design, and the iPod turned music into a lifestyle. Then came the iPhone, a device that changed the course of technology forever. Along the way, Apple built an ecosystem that keeps millions connected, inspired, and loyal. This is the story of vision, struggle, and reinvention, the complete history and evolution of Apple. In 1976, three men in California started something that would one day change the world. Steve Jobs, a college dropout with big dreams, Steve Wozniak, a brilliant engineer, and Ronald Wayne, the often forgotten third founder, came together in Jobs' family garage. Their mission wasn't about money or fame. It was about creating a computer that ordinary people could actually use. The result was the Apple I, a simple wooden box holding a circuit board that looked nothing like today's sleek devices. Yet it was revolutionary because it brought computing out of laboratories and into homes. At the time, few people believed in their vision, but these early steps built the foundation for something massive. From that small garage in Los Altos, a movement was born, one that would eventually redefine technology, culture, and the way we connect with the world every single day. Just 1 year after their first attempt, Apple introduced the Apple II in 1977, and this time, it was different. Unlike the clunky, dull machines that dominated the market, the Apple II came in a sleek plastic case with a built-in keyboard, and most importantly, color graphics. For the first time, families, schools, and small businesses could own a computer that wasn't just for scientists or tech experts. It was easy to use, fun to look at, and powerful enough to make computing feel exciting. Kids learned to code, businesses tracked finances, and teachers brought technology into classrooms. The Apple II didn't just sell, it created a cultural shift. Suddenly, computers were no longer futuristic dreams. They were everyday tools. This success turned Apple from a tiny garage startup into one of the fastest-growing companies in America, setting the stage for even bigger ambitions. By the early 1980s, Apple was booming, but Steve Jobs wasn't satisfied. He wanted to create a computer so simple and intuitive that anyone could use it. That dream became the Macintosh, launched in 1984 with a now legendary Super Bowl commercial that painted Apple as the rebel against the corporate giant IBM. The Mac introduced a mouse, icons, and a graphical interface, things we take for granted today. But behind the scenes, not everything was smooth. Jobs' intense passion and demanding leadership clashed with Apple's board of directors and even his own team. While the Macintosh was groundbreaking, its high price and limited software hurt sales. The tension reached a breaking point, and just a year after the Mac's debut, Jobs was forced out of the company he had built. It was a dramatic fall, and Apple was left to face an uncertain future without its visionary leader. After Steve Jobs' departure in 1985, Apple entered what many call its lost decade. Without its visionary leader, the company struggled to find direction. New executives tried to steer Apple, but their strategies often led to confusing products and poor sales. Meanwhile, Microsoft was dominating the market with Windows, offering cheaper computers that appealed to the masses. Apple's once bold image began to fade, and critics claimed the company was on the verge of becoming irrelevant. Through the late 80s and early 90s, Apple experimented with devices like the Newton, an early handheld digital assistant, but most projects failed to capture public interest. The magic seemed gone, and many wondered if Apple's story was coming to an end. Yet hidden beneath the setbacks was still a loyal community of fans and a legacy of innovation, waiting for the right spark to reignite the brand's future. By the mid-1990s, Apple was on the brink of collapse. Sales were falling, competitors were surging, and many believed the company had no future. Then in 1997, a dramatic twist changed everything. Steve Jobs returned. After being pushed out over a decade earlier, Jobs came back when Apple acquired his company. With him came a fresh vision and the boldness that had once defined Apple. He quickly made tough decisions, cutting unprofitable products, simplifying the company's focus, and reintroducing a culture of creativity. Jobs struck a surprising deal with Microsoft, securing much-needed cash and software support, which kept Apple alive. But more importantly, he reignited excitement around the brand. Apple wasn't just back in business. It was preparing to redefine technology yet again. This comeback marked the start of one of the greatest turnarounds in business history, setting the stage for Apple's second golden era. In 1998, Apple unveiled the iMac, and it was unlike anything the world had ever seen. Wrapped in colorful, translucent plastic, it looked more like a piece of modern art than a computer. The iMac wasn't just about looks. It was simple to set up, fast, and built for the growing world of the internet. By ditching floppy disks and focusing on USB ports, Apple signaled a bold step into the future. The design came from Jony Ive, the creative mind who would become Jobs' closest collaborator. Together, they shaped Apple's new identity, technology that was not only powerful, but beautiful. The iMac was a hit, selling millions and making Apple cool again. For the first time in years, people wanted an Apple product, not just for what it could do, but for how it made them feel. It was the start of Apple's design revolution. In 2001, Apple introduced a small white device that would forever change the way people listen to music, the iPod. At first glance, it looked simple, but inside it held up to 1,000 songs, all in your pocket. Paired with iTunes, Apple created a complete ecosystem where users could buy, organize, and carry their music with ease. Suddenly, bulky CD players and scattered mixtapes felt outdated. The iPod wasn't just about technology. It became a cultural icon, appearing in commercials with dancing silhouettes and instantly recognizable white earbuds. It turned Apple from a struggling computer company into a lifestyle brand, one that represented innovation, creativity, and individuality. More importantly, it showed the world that Apple could dominate more than just computers. The iPod's success paved the way for even bigger breakthroughs, setting Apple on a path that would eventually reshape the entire tech industry. In 2007, Steve Jobs walked onto a stage and unveiled a device that combined a phone, an iPod, and an internet communicator all in one. It was called the iPhone, and it instantly redefined what a phone could be. Gone were the days of tiny keyboards and clunky buttons. Apple introduced a sleek touchscreen that let users swipe, tap, and pinch to control everything. The iPhone wasn't just a gadget. It was a revolution that changed how people communicate, work, and live. Apps soon followed, creating an entirely new economy and transforming industries from gaming to banking. With each update, the iPhone grew smarter, faster, and more indispensable. What started as a bold experiment quickly became the center of modern life. More than any other product, the iPhone cemented Apple's place as a global leader and reshaped technology for generations to come. After the iPhone's success, Apple proved it wasn't stopping at smartphones. In 2010, the iPad arrived, blending the portability of a phone with the power of a computer. Many doubted it at first, but soon it became a favorite for students, creatives, and professionals. Then came the Apple Watch in 2015, turning a simple wristwatch into a health and fitness companion. AirPods followed, changing how we listen to music and communicate on the go. But what truly made Apple unstoppable was its ecosystem. Each product, from Macs to iPhones, iPads, and wearables, was designed to work seamlessly together. Add services like iCloud, Apple Music, and the App Store. And Apple wasn't just selling devices, it was creating a lifestyle. This interconnected world kept customers loyal and made Apple more than a tech company. It became a brand people lived in every day. When Steve Jobs passed away in 2011, many wondered if Apple could survive without its visionary leader. Under Tim Cook's leadership, the company not only survived, it thrived. Cook focused on efficiency, expanding services, and building Apple into the first company to reach a trillion-dollar valuation. Products like the iPhone continued to evolve, while new innovations like the Apple Watch Ultra, AirPods Pro, and Apple Silicon chips showed that Apple could still surprise the world. At the same time, the company leaned into sustainability, aiming for carbon neutrality and pushing recycled materials in its products. Rumors of electric cars, augmented reality glasses, and even deeper ventures into health technology suggest Apple's story is far from over. From a garage startup in 1976 to a global powerhouse today, Apple has become more than a company. It's a symbol of how vision, design, and relentless innovation can shape the future.